Hello, this is Patricia Potts. Well, welcome back to our third segment. And Kerri this last time talked about the hospitalizations that she had and the growth that she had from those hospitalizations. And so we're going to just let her take her story from that point.
Okay. I think before we got interrupted with the camera, I had always been a believer in the spirit of the law. That's something that I've learned and was always. But I think at this point in my life, I had to learn the letter of the law. These are the things that you don't do and that you do, you know.
And that was partially from the state hospital that you learned that?
It was partially from the state hospital. And just the way I was reacting in my relationships with other people. You know, God said love God and your neighbors and as yourself. And, you know, I really had to, you know, and keep, even down to keep the Sabbath day holy. I mean, I try to live them to this day as best as I possibly can. Mm-hmm. And I'm so much happier because I've learned both. You know, sometimes it is the spirit and other times it's not. And I just think it's different for everybody.
That's
you know?
great.
So.
That's great. That's a really important learning, I think, for all of us is that there are times that we just have to kind of follow the rules.
Yeah.
So, Kerri, what happened when you finished with the state hospital?
Okay.
And you're in Utah.
In Utah, got out of the state hospital, and then I had another tragedy. Is that my father had died. He had committed suicide.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So you run in the family. This kind of
depression runs in the family, definitely.
Wow. Okay.
You know, whether it's chemical, environmental, you know, things like this do run in the family. Wow. And that was really tragic. But at that time, I was so focused on just surviving myself that I don't think I went through the full grieving process with my father because I wasn't safe enough or strong enough to do that yet.
Right.
So, and it's been a long journey. At that time, I was about 26 years old when I got out of the state hospital. I was there for 3 months. During the holidays, I was there. It was terrible. But, you know, I had to be broken in order to build myself back up, if that makes any sense. Okay. I think the Lord sometimes breaks us, and when I say the Lord does it, I think He allows things to happen around us that allow certain things to happen.
Right.
So
you were very humbled by it, Drew.
Exactly. Yeah, humble. That's it. And it wasn't fun, you know, but I learned so much. I would never take back the lessons that I've learned from the hospital and the people in my life. I would never take those experiences back. And I just sometimes, you know, wish I could go back and apologize to people that I've hurt, and maybe one of these days that will happen. You know, I will get that opportunity. You know, and so that's kind of what I'm working on right now in my life. Is just, you know, the spirit of law versus the letter. Just trying to juggle those things.
Yeah.
And, you know. But
by the way, I read your talk. About our Lord and Savior, and I thought that it was really neat. Yeah, some good things to say.
Yeah.
So I had to say that. So. Anyway, okay, here you are. And
so here I am out of the state hospital.
Yeah.
Tried to work. That was the start of not being able to work. And for me now, that was a blow. For other people, it may not, but to not be hired and keep going from job to job was humiliating to me. That I could not work. It was really a just didn't know how to handle it type of thing.
So there were more experiences that were breaking to you, more humbling experiences.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But I, like I said, I got on with SOS, and I called like every few mornings and say, do you have anything for me to do? I mean,
now SOS, for those of you that don't know, no, that's fine. That's just kind of what does it stand for, SOS?
Staffing services. What is it? Something staffing services. SOS.
You continue. I'm just going to put my dog out.
Okay. Okay. I'll just keep going. So, anyways, I mean, I can remember getting jobs and they'd say, go to this place. I mean, I couldn't even stuff envelopes. I tried cleaning toilets. I tried fast food. I tried working in soup, you know, in the kitchens of rest homes and things like. I mean, I just was wanting something because I just always felt my dad had always instilled good work ethics with us. You know, being responsible and paying your own way through life, and it was one of the good things that I've learned from my father. But this kind of thing went on for about 5 years, where I just couldn't do it. I mean, I'd worked retail for so long, but that only lasted a day before I'd get fired. You know, it was awful.
How long
and
did
I
this
think
go,
people could
Kerri?
tell things. I think people could tell that I wasn't quite all there. You know.
So is this like for a year, 2 years?
5 years.
5 years you were
That
going
I
from
could-
job to job?
Job to job, 5 years.
Wow. So during this time, did you meet your second husband or not? Yeah.
Yes. Well, no, not during the
5 years.
5
Okay.
years, right? So, but anyways, and then the turning point really was back in '94, when I told you about the Clauserville story.
Oh yes.
I'll have what he's having story.
Yes. Medication
So
that
I
worked
started
for you.
medication that worked. That was it so much. And as a person with an illness, sometimes I turn my thoughts inward and think there's something wrong with me. You know, what do I need to do? There's something terribly wrong with me, and this is why I'm not being able to do this or that or whatever. And I just learned that. I mean, the medication gave me a whole new perspective.
Wow.
This is chemical, Kerri.
Wow.
It's not, your thoughts aren't valid because this is a chemical thing and needs to be treated.
Right.
So I got on the Clauserville, and
I'm going to pause here for a second and just make the comment that the other day I received an email from someone that said that, the worst thing that there is medication. People just, don't realize how bad medication can be, and that they can do it with nutrition. And I think that is sometimes true. That, like Kerri's going to talk to you a little bit about somebody who really needed to not be on medication. But I think it is a very individual thing. I know for myself, as bipolar, escalith, which is a form of lithium, is what keeps me sane, and it works for me, and that's what I need. But as Kerri's just been mentioning, it was a medication that helped turn her life around. So for some people, for some of us, we need it. Others don't, but for some, they
it's
do.
truly an individual thing, and everybody's situation is unique, and needs to be treated as such. So.
Okay, you can continue. I
But,
just had
just have a little saying there. Okay. Where was I? Hospital. Oh, couldn't work for a while. And then after I took the medications, I was able to work. I got my job in 1997. I can just remember getting up in the morning and giving it another try. SOS, do you have any jobs for me? And they said, well, there's this place. It's a rest or retirement inn, and they need a waitress for the day. And I had done that before, so I thought, okay, maybe this will work, and knowing very well that it could fail, as
Right.
all my other attempts had failed. So I got to the place, and I just took it like minute by minute, okay, then hour by hour, and finally at the end of the day they offered me a job.
wow.
So yeah, but still knowing, that there was some doubt there. So I came back the next day, and it was the same thing, moment by moment, hour by hour, and then day by day. And eventually this is a place that I was continued to be employed for 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. You probably met people,
What?
fun people while you were there as a waitress too.
Yes, yeah, and it was great because I found myself, once I was
Were you living
employed-
with your parents at that time? Did you
I
have an
was living with
apartment?
my mother,
Okay.
yeah, which
That's
was
right.
good. I had left my home when I was 18, and I kind of did it backwards,
Oh.
left home too soon to have a mental illness, and then now I'm back home with my mom.
Well,
so.
you made the comment before as far as your mother, for a while, she wasn't on your healing team, so to speak. But one of the psychiatrists I just had suggested to you that you really let her be a part of your healing, and she became an important